guys, welcome back to my channel, Tiff on the Block. Welcome. So you guys, in this video, I'm just giving you all an update on my life in New York. Y'all, I have officially been here. It's going to be 6 years next month. March of 2024 will be 6 years that your girl has been living in New York. And boy, oh boy, has it been a journey. So you guys, just a little quick backstory. You guys know that I moved to New York in March of 2018. My friend Jeffrey, he's in the modeling industry. I told him I wanted to move here. Now, again, this move didn't just happen overnight. It was like a couple years before it got to this point. But basically in 2018, the doors finally opened. I was able to transfer my full-time job, which was working for the Department of Revenue, to New York. So that was like a very big part of my move, because I'm like, y'all know modeling is not easy, and you got to have some money coming in, because you may not always get the modeling jobs. So my job was able to transfer. I was living with my friend for about 2 months in the Bronx, and I was going back and forth to work every day. It was like a 45-minute to an hour ride every freaking day, going from the Bronx all the way to Hicksville, New York, and back. So that was my life for like 2 months. And I was also doing like little modeling stuff on the side. I'm going to do a separate video of my modeling journey. So I'm not going to go too much into that in this video, but I'm going to get a separate video for that. So keep on the lookout. So it was 2 months. And then like after 2 months, y'all, I was just ready to go. I was getting overwhelmed. I was missing my family. I've never in my life made a big move like that before. And I was just ready to go back home. And then not only that, the modeling was just getting so stressful, and it was just taking a lot out of me. And I'm just like, you know what? I want to go back home. I want to go back home. And I remember I was looking at apartment after apartment, trying to figure out where I'm going to live, because I was ready to move out of his place. The apartments was so much, and I didn't really know a lot about like distance wise and the boroughs, and it was just too much for me. It was okay. Think about a little girl. Well, I'm not a little girl, but somebody coming from Jefferson City, Missouri, which is a country, small town. And imagine moving from somewhere like that to somewhere like New York. Oh my gosh. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I remember it was on a Saturday, and I was just like, God, because I had 3 apartment buildings lined up to go look at. And y'all, going from place to place is not like across the street. Sometimes you go on a borough to another borough, and that's like 20-30 minute ride. And I was just exhausted. And I remember I just chose one of the apartments to look at. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I'm like, God, if this door does not open for me to get this apartment, then I know it's not meant for me to hear. It's not meant for me to be here. I'm stressed out. I'm tired. This guy that I'm living with, which is my friend, get on my doggone nerves. You know what? If this apartment door does not open, I'm moving back home. I was ready. Like literally, I kind of already made up in my mind that I was going to move back home. But as I was driving to go visit this apartment, I'm like, I'm just going to go look at it though. I'm just going to go look at it. So fast forwarding, I get to the apartment complex. It was a Russian landlord, Russian guy. So this Russian landlord, he was a nice guy, very sweet, very nice. And I was already kind of apprehensive though, because I just felt like a lot of the New York landlords are like, they try to take advantage of you. They try to take advantage of the prices. They're not honest people. And I was already kind of nervous. And I felt like the landlord was kind of nervous about me too, because he's probably used to dealing with people that don't pay their rent on time, etc. And I don't know, it's just like when we met, it's just like something clicked. It was like, it was just meant to be. And long story short, I ended up renting out a room in this apartment building. It was in Briarwoods, Queens. And this is also around the time that I found my first church, which was All Nations Apostolic Church, which was like literally right around the corner from my apartment building. So that all kind of worked out. But anyway, I ended up getting 2 roommates, a Bangladesh roommate and then also another African American roommate. We are all friends till this day. But eventually what ended up happening is they ended up hiking up the rent, and we couldn't afford to stay there. And the landlord was like, I don't want y'all to leave, but I mean, if you all can like come together and just pay the increase, y'all can just stay here. And I'm like, I'm barely making it as we speak. I can't afford to pay an extra higher amount. So we ended up all, going our separate ways. And here I am. Oh my gosh, Lord, here we go again. I got to look for a place to stay and I'm stressed out. Oh my gosh. And at this time, like, the friend that I had, we were not really talking because, again, it was just too much. So I was literally doing this thing by myself. So again, fast forwarding, I ended up renting a room from this house, which was still in Queens. It was still in Queens. It was within a Spanish family. They're from Honduras. And oh my gosh, they were a beautiful family. I'm still friends with all of them today. So yeah, it was awesome living with them. They had beautiful children, and I really just enjoyed living there. But there ended up being some shady stuff going on to where we all had to move out, including the family with the landlord. And that was another overwhelming experience, y'all, because I'm just like, you know what? Nothing is going right for me living here. I mean, I can't even stay in my living space for 2 years. Like, every time I look around, I gotta move out. I gotta move out. So, again, I ended up having to move out. Now, again, at this time, though, that this happened is when I met my now husband. Now, at this time, we were just friends, but I was still kind of alone here. You know what I'm saying? I was still kind of alone here. I still had my church, but it was still like, I just still felt like I couldn't find my footing being here. You know what I'm saying? Fast forwarding, God must knew that it wasn't meant for me to move yet, because I ended up finding another place to live. I was renting a room out with an Italian family in a beautiful neighborhood. I mean, these houses were like mansions, beautiful. So literally I was renting a box, for like $800 a month. And so I was happy that, I still got to stay here. I still have my job, and then me and my now husband, we were dating, but it was just still like up and down. I'm like, bruh, like, you know what? I'm ready to go back home. I'm ready to go back home. So it ended up down the line. This was probably like after a year of talking. My husband and I, we got married. This was like a year later. We ended up moving. So we ended up moving to somewhere in Jamaica, New York. So we were living there. We were living in the basement of a Indian family. So that was an experience. It was issues with them. So I think we lived there probably for a year. And then after a year, because I ended up getting a new job, which I'm working for now, which is the Social Security Administration. And once I got the new job, I was just like, babe, that's move. It's time to go, to really, really start our life. You know what I'm saying? Because we were newly married. This is how we get to where we are now. We are now living in, they call it Sunnyside, Queens, but we're now in Queens. And yeah, that has literally been the journey of me as far as housing issues in New York. Let's see. Once I moved into this area, I kind of changed my churches because it's just the distance wise. But I'm going to an amazing church now. This church has been such a blessing to me in this season of my life. A lot of the times, like, I'm late coming back from break because I have to wait until the car parking thing is over with, or else you're gonna get hit with a $65 ticket, which sucks. Another thing I would never, get used to, just the rent. The rent is very high living in New York. But thanks be to God, both of my husband and I, we have pretty good jobs, which has allowed us to pay for our rent, but it's still very high. We pay $1,700 per month for a 1-bedroom. It's ridiculous. New York knows that it's highway robbery to be charging that much rent. But again, like I always say, you're not paying for living here, you're paying for the experience. That's why everything is so high. You're paying for the Times Square. You're paying for all the beautiful experiences that you have here. That's what you're paying for. As far as living, you get what you get. Thankfully, I love where we live. It's a beautiful neighborhood, but still, it's definitely not worth $1,700. But yeah, since I've lived here, I've definitely gained more friends. A lot of the friends that I've gained are through work or through my husband, because my husband had already been living here. So I've gained some beautiful friendships since living here. What else? I know how to get around, y'all. Your girl know how to get around everywhere. You need me to get to the Bronx, I can get to the Bronx. You need me to get to Brooklyn, I can get to Brooklyn. You need me to get to Manhattan or Queens, where I live now, I can get there. Your girl can get anywhere now. Also, I am a professional at parallel parking. If you don't know how to parallel park, you will not find you a spot in New York. That's how I can get into any spot. Now, I may have to bud the car a little bit, just a little bit, but I can get into that spot. But yeah, y'all, New York has definitely been a blessing. I know it's been nothing but the goodness of the Lord that has sustained me since I've lived here. I've always had a place over my head, clothes on my back, food on the table, and it's nothing but the goodness of God that I've made it thus far here. But I love you guys, and I will talk to you later.